my lord.
My friends, the hour has come. Madness has overtaken this city and grasped in its claws my children. But now we must drive it back under the rocks whence it came. Madness has had its day!
Hey guys, Kevin here, and on today's Rewind, I want to talk about Mace Tyrell. Mace Tyrell is the Lord of Highgarden, Lord Paramount of the Reach, and Warden of the South. He is the son of Lady Olenna Redwine, and father of Sir Loras Tyrell of the Kingsguard, and Queen Marjorie Tyrell of the Seven Kingdoms. Before he is introduced in person in Season 4, he is mentioned as a potential backer of Renly Baratheon's claim to the Iron Throne.
Do you know who should be king? Be serious.
I am. My father could be your bank. I've never fought in a war before, but I'd fight for you.
I'm fourth in line.
And where's Robert in the line of royal succession? Joffrey is a monster. Tommen is 8. Stannis has the personality of a lobster.
Let no man claim ignorance as an excuse.
Your Grace, the Lannisters are the true enemy. If for the time being you could make peace with your brother.
I'll not make peace with Renly while he calls himself king.
Well, many have already declared for him. Miss Tyrell, Randall Tarley.
In Season 3, we learn more about the Lord of Highgarden from his mother, the Queen of Thorns.
It is my honor to present my grandmother, the Lady Olenna of House Tyrell.
Kiss me, child. It's so good of you to visit me and my foolish flock of hens. We're very sorry for your losses.
And I was sorry when I heard of Lord Renly's death, Lady Marjorie. He was very gallant.
Gallant, yes, and charming and very clean. He knew how to dress and smile, and somehow this gave him the notion he was fit to be king.
Renly was brave and gentle, grandmother. Father liked him, and so did Loras.
Loras is young and very good at knocking men off horses with a stick. That does not make him wise. As to your fathead father...
Grandmother, what will Sansa think of us?
She might think we have some wits about us. One of us, at any rate. I'm much less boring than these others. Do you know my son? The Lord of Highgarden?
I haven't had the pleasure.
No great pleasure, believe me. Ponderous oaf. His father was an oaf as well. My husband, the late Lord Luther. He managed to ride off a cliff whilst hawking. They say he was looking up at the sky and paying no mind to where his horse was taking him. But now my son is doing the same, only this time he's riding a lion instead of a horse. Speak freely, child. We would never betray your confidence, I swear it.
He's a monster.
Ah. That's a pity.
Please don't stop the wedding.
Have no fear. The Lord Oaf of Highgarden is determined that Marjorie shall be queen. Even so, we thank you for the truth. Your husband, was he buried here as well?
No, he wanted his remains returned to Storm's End.
Such a tragedy.
A fairly predictable tragedy. Hunting and drinking don't mix.
I should say not. My son's a hunter. It helps him forget he's never been within a mile of a real battle.
I seem to recall he laid siege to Storm's End for the better part of a year.
All he laid siege to was the banquet table in the command tent. I told him to stay out of Robert's rebellion. He had no business fighting an actual warrior. We mothers do what we can to keep our sons from the grave. But they do seem to yearn for it. We shower them with good sense, and it slides right off like rain off a wing.
The actual warrior Mace faced off against during Robert's rebellion was Stannis Baratheon. The blockade of Storm's End starved Stannis' forces until an onion smuggler broke through. Thus, Mace Tyrell is responsible for Stannis meeting his most loyal bannerman. Mace Tyrell is first seen in the show, giving King Joffrey a wedding gift.
From House Tyrell and the people of the Reach, Your Grace, it is my honor to present you with this wedding cup. May you and my daughter Marjorie drink deep and live long.
A handsome goblet, my lord. Or shall I call you father?
I should be honored, Your Grace.
He later gives away his daughter, Lady Marjorie, at her wedding.
their money on this sort of nonsense tend not to have it for long.
You ought to try enjoying something before you die. You might find it suits you. Not now, Mace. Lord Tywin and I are speaking. Anyway.
During the performance of the Five Kings, the Tyrells are particularly upset about King Renly and Sir Loris's portrayal.
Renly, you're no king! Away, degenerates! Away, away! Careful! God, what's your name, my prince? You like it there? Right up,
After Joffrey is poisoned, Mace Tyrell attends the coronation of his younger brother, Tommen.
May the smith grant him strength, that he might bear this heavy burden. And may the crone, she that knows the fate of all men, show him the path he must walk, and guide him through the dark places that lie ahead. In the light of the seven, I now proclaim Tommen of the House Baratheon, first of his name, King of the Andals and the First Men, and Lord of the Seven Kingdoms. Long may he reign!
Long may he reign!
Happy day. Lord Tyrell goes on to sit on Tommen's small council, and as a judge in Tyrion's trial.
So, does this mean I am a master of something now? Coins, ships...
Lord Tywin and I already determined that I shall be the master of ships, long before you. Lord Tywin, it's a great honour to have been granted a seat on this council.
The trial begins this afternoon. We only have the morning for affairs of state, so shall we begin?
Sandor Clegane has been spotted in the Riverlands, my lord.
A coward and a traitor.
My birds tell me the hound slaughtered 5 of our soldiers. I believe the phrase, "fuck the king," was uttered.
Disgraceful. What would it take to make the common soldier stupid enough to try his luck with the hound?
10 silver stags seems a generous bounty.
Make it 100. What else?
More whispers from the east, my lord.
The dragons haven't won a war in 300 years. Armies win them all the time. She must be dealt with.
How, my lord? By force?
Eventually, if it comes to that. Can your little birds find their way into Meereen?
Most certainly, my lord Hound.
Lord Tyrell, be a good man. Fetch my quill and paper.
Tywin of the House Lannister, Hand of the King and Protector of the Realm, will sit as judge in my stead. With him Prince Oberyn of the House Martell and Lord Mace of the House Tyrell. And if found guilty, may the gods punish the accused.
Tyrion of the House Lannister. You stand accused by the Queen Regent of regicide.
I will hurt you for this. A day will come when you think you are safe and happy, and your joy will turn to ashes in your mouth, and you'll know the debt is paid.
Your own brother said this to you.
Shortly before the Battle of Blackwater Bay, I confronted him about his plans to put Joffrey on the front lines. As it turned out, when the attack came, Joff insisted on remaining at the battlements. He believed his presence would inspire the troops.
Tyrion said, "And you will know the debt is paid." What debt?
I discovered he'd been keeping whores in the Tower of the Hand. I asked him to confine his salacious acts to the brothel where such behavior belongs. He wasn't pleased.
Thank you, Your Grace, for the courage of your testimony. Do you remember the precise nature of this threat?
I'm afraid I do, my lord. He said perhaps you should speak more softly to me then. Monsters are dangerous, and just now kings are dying like flies.
And he said this to you at a meeting of the small council?
Yes. After we received word of Robb Stark's death, he didn't seem gladdened by the news. Perhaps his marriage to Sansa Stark had made him more sympathetic to the Northern cause.
He stole poison from the Grand Mesa's chamber to put in Joffrey's wine.
How could you possibly know all this? Why would he reveal such plans to his wife's maid?
I wasn't just her maid. I was his whore.
I beg your pardon? You said you were his...
His whore.
Lord Mace Tyrell attends Tyrion's trial by combat, and later Tywin's funeral after Tyrion kills him. The Lord of Highgarden then returns to his seat on the small council.
You're the hand of the king?
No, Uncle. Clearly it would not be appropriate for a woman to assume that role. I'm merely advising my son until he comes of age and chooses a hand for himself.
Your Grace, I would be willing to serve provisionally as the king's hand until he becomes
You're a
old
good
enough to
man, Lord
make...
Tyrell, but I don't imagine you'll have the time. In addition to being Master of Ships, the king has appointed you Master of Coin.
Oh, Your Grace.
He called your experience and wisdom in financial matters unparalleled. He said he would be honored to have you represent the Crown's interests in the same.
The honor is all mine, Your Grace.
Your Grace, in the past, on several occasions, a Grand Maester has served as the King's hand.
The King has named Qyburn the new Master of Whisperers.
Your Grace, him? This man? This embarrassment to the Citadel? Your Grace, what qualifications can he possibly have for this post?
The qualification of loyalty, Grand Maester. That's far more than the eunuch ever had. Far more than many ever have.
Mace is again present for his daughter's third wedding to King Tommen Baratheon.
Your Grace, Grand Maester, Lord Tyrell,
it doesn't matter.
As the High Septon of the Faith of the Seven, I give voice to the will of the gods and am their foremost servant in this world. An insult to me is an insult to the gods. An assault on my person is an assault on our very religion.
You were assaulted.
I was, by those fanatics who call themselves sparrows. They humiliated me, they beat me, they left me naked and bleeding on the cobblestones. I am lucky to be alive.
I heard this assault began in Littlefinger's brothel.
High Septon, this is a rather shocking thing to hear.
I tend to both the highest born and the lowliest amongst us. Even prostitutes may earn the mercy of the mother.
The Iron Bank has called in 1/10 of the Crown's debt. Given the expense of rebuilding the royal
How much
fleet,
can the Crown afford?
with winter coming, half what they ask? Less?
You're the Master of Coin. How do we pay them?
Well, House Tyrell could front the gold and the Crown would pay us back in time, or I'd have words with my daughter.
You've already given us too much. No, we must arrange better terms with the Iron Bank.
Absolutely.
In person.
Me?
We must send an envoy to the Iron Bank, someone of importance, to show these bankers our respect. As the King's Master of Coin, I can think of no one more qualified.
I would be honored, Your Grace.
The King's expressed concern about his father-in-law's safety on this voyage. He's ordered Sir Meryn to personally lead your escort.
my very own King's Guard. Please express
Safe
my...
travels, Lord Tyrell.
Of course, of course. I'll give your regards to the Titan of Bravos.
Lord Tyrell, on behalf of the Iron Bank, may I be the first to welcome you to the free city of Bravos. I hope your journey was trouble-free.
Bit of chop the last few days. Nothing too awful. Good to see the old chap still guarding the harbour.
And how goes the harvest in the Reach?
Ah, well, the vintners say this might be the best year for red grapes in half a century. If we come to a satisfactory arrangement, I'll be sure to send a cask of the harbour's finest your way.
I'm afraid I don't partake.
Some consider usually distasteful, dishonourable. Pure nonsense, of course.
I'm glad we see eye to eye on this matter.
Did you know that at one point Maegor III tried to outlaw it in the Seven Kingdoms? Wanted to arrest anyone caught charging interest and cut off both their hands.
Most unfortunate for the Glovers.
If a man charges no interest on a loan, then he has nothing to gain and everything to lose, so why chance it? Whereas the promise of reward makes a man willing to gamble.
We are not gamblers here at the Iron Bank, Lord Tyrell.
You are the world's best gamblers. And all those bets you won built this.
I'm afraid I still have a good deal of work to do.
Oh, lots of work over. Do you sing?
I don't have that gift.
Oh, it's not a gift. It's a skill. Anyone can learn it. So give me a kiss by the long canal, and give me 2 kisses in Salty Town, for we're going to die tomorrow. The bearded beggar, the king with his crown.
Lord Tyrell returns from Bravos to find both of his children imprisoned by the Faith.
As bad as Lord Varys was, Qyburn is worse. I told them all. I told them. He's arrogant and dangerous. You don't get thrown out of the Citadel without good reason. And no one listened to my advice, so here we are. And what he's done to Gregor Clegane is an abomination. We never sanctioned this experiment. And I, for one, think it will be in our best interest to have the beast destroyed.
Can I help you?
Why are you here?
My mother.
I was invited, my dear, to help deal with several troublesome issues, such as the Queen's imprisonment.
Thank you for bringing it up. It's well past time we address the abuses I endured.
Marjorie is the Queen. You are not the Queen, because you're not married to the King. I do appreciate these things can get a bit confusing in your family.
What about Marcella's death, Uncle? Do you consider the murder of your own blood a troublesome issue?
The same women who murdered Marcella have overthrown House Martell and taken control of Dawn. We've got a lot to discuss. All of us, together.
And seeing as you cannot make us leave, we best get on with it.
No, we cannot make you leave. And you cannot make us stay. Not unless you're going to have that thing murder us all.
Lord Tyrell attempts to rescue his daughter and prevent her walk of shame by leading a Tyrell army to the Sept of Baelor.
Lord Tyrell.
speak for King Tommen of House Baratheon, first of his name.
The gods don't recognize his authority in this matter.
You've already insulted one great house. It won't happen twice. Every last sparrow will die before Marjorie Tyrell walks down that street.
To die in the service of the gods would please each and every one of us. We yearn for it. But there is no call for it today. There will be no walk of atonement. Queen Marjorie has already atoned for her sins by bringing another into the true light of the Seven.
What's happening? He's beaten us. That's what's happening.
Mace Tyrell is present for the royal announcement ending trial by combat, and for his son's trial.
After conferring with His Holiness, the High Septon, we have determined that Loras Tyrell and Cersei Lannister's trial will be held in the Great Sept of Baelor on the first day of the Festival of the Mother. Furthermore, after much prayer and reflection, the Crown has decided that from this day forward, trial by combat will be forbidden throughout the Seven Kingdoms. The tradition is a brutish one, a scheme devised by corrupt rulers in order to avoid true judgment from the gods. Cersei Lannister and Loras Tyrell will stand trial before 7 Septons as it was in the earliest days of the faith. 7 blessings to all.
Sir Loras Tyrell, are you prepared to stand trial and profess your guilt or innocence before the Seven?
There will be no need for a trial. I confess before the Seven and freely admit to my crimes.
To which crimes will you be confessing?
All of them. I lay with other men, including the traitor, Renly Baratheon. I perjured myself before the gods. I take full responsibility for my many sins and unburden myself of my desires. My only remaining wish is to devote my life to the Seven. May I be a living example of their grace for others to witness.
You understand fully what this means?
I do. I will abandon the Tyrell name and all that goes with it. I will renounce my lordship and my claims on Highgarden. I will never marry. And I will never father children.
Faith is the way, Father. You mutilated him. You gave me your word.
For better or worse, all men must die.
We all need to leave now! Norris. Get out of my way! Let us through!